Well, why don't you just give us some of your background and kind of talk us through how you got started? Maybe go into we'll kind of maybe get into some of the publishing stuff later, but like what kind of got you into writing and where did you get started and all that kind of stuff?
Sure. I have two books out so far. They both took me around 4 years each to write. Um, hoping to speed up a little bit after that, but yeah, these ones were both. I think 4 years is probably quite normal for a first book, actually. And then yeah, my second was the same, and that's just been released a week ago. um, what got me into writing? I think I guess I read a lot all through school. I love reading, and I read a lot of fantasy now. I did read. I think I read kind of anything and everything at school. Started with things like The Secret History and Wilbur Smith and some historical fiction. I loved Greek mythology. And then I read Lord of the Rings, sat down and couldn't put it down for an entire weekend, and then went from there. But I guess I was trying to think about this earlier. Why did I get into writing? Because I feel like it kind of happened. But when I was I'm not sure what stage of school you call it over there, but it's like age 7 to 11. We
Mhm.
had this writing competition every year, and what would happen is one day a year, the teachers would just say, "Here's a theme for a story. You have an hour and a half to write a story on this theme." And I used to love that day, and I just really enjoyed it. And there's so we had it was 4 years, and there were two classes in each year. And for the first 3 years, so age 7, 8, 9, the same two people won it from my year every time. And then in the fourth year, they announced that my class was the winner, and everyone expected it to be the same person. And then they said my name, and I think I was so surprised that I hit my head on the wall behind me, because obviously we're now the oldest people in the school. We've got the nice back row of the auditorium, and I was just so shocked. But it just, for some reason, meant more to me than a lot of other stuff that I've been involved in all through school. So I guess that kind of spark passion for writing has always been there. And it just developed from there. But it did take me, quite a while after that to come up with a story that I actually felt was worth writing into a book, because you know it's hard to have an idea, and you have to have something that you feel really passionate about. And then I guess one day the idea was there, and I was thinking, this is the one. I know how it starts and how it ends. I've just got to get
Yeah.
it from A to B.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Yeah, it's simple. It's so simple. Just get the story from point A to point B. Yeah. Yeah, I think, there's it's so interesting those times that time is such a formative time for so many people, where so my daughter is 9 and she is in dance, and so the first time she's did really well at a competition or did really well in something, it's like it kind of makes you, it solidifies it for you. You won this writing thing and you were so shocked that you wanted to do it, but then you actually won it, and it's like this solidifying moment for you to like, this is what I want to do. That's really cool. I also was laughing about the reason I laugh at the Lord of the Rings. I've yet to talk to one person yet who hasn't said, "Well, then I read the Lord of the Rings, and that changed everything." And I think that seems to be a very common theme for people, for sure.
Yeah, there's something about it, and I still, when I'm writing, I like that kind of quest type story in fantasy. I like it to be on the adventure side of the genre. So they're going on some sort of adventure. Where they're going to end up, and sort of one of the things that I'm not really a planner. But one of the things that I'll probably know at the outset is what locations I want to happen in the story. So they're going to go from this place to this place, and then this is going to happen at this place, um, because I want it to feel like the reader's going with you.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and what's interesting about I actually just recently restarted reading Lord of the Rings. I haven't actually read it for a couple of years, and so I thought I'd give it another go. And it's so interesting in those adventure stories, but particularly in that where he doesn't revisit, like he'll they go on the adventure, but there's actually quite a few times he doesn't go back and revisit things. You know, like Tom Bombadil, like he never comes back up again. He's just in that one spot. Or in The Hobbit, like they just keep hitting all these locations and they never go back to it. It's just they pass through it and then that's over. I think that's a pretty interesting feature of those adventure quest type stories.
Yeah, Tom Bombadil, obviously the controversial character. I remember
Hmm.
the first time I read it, maybe, I don't know, it was like 10 or 11, thinking this bit's really boring, I need to get through it, and then loving the rest of it. But then I reread it not that long ago, and actually I enjoyed the Tom Bombadil bit a lot more this time.
Hmm. Yeah, it
Um,
definitely changes. I'm the same. So I actually didn't get into it until I saw the movie when it came out, and I would have been, I don't know, I think it was like 10 or something like that. And then immediately got the other two and read those voraciously. And then when I went back to read Fellowship, I couldn't even get through that part because I just didn't like it at all. And now though, I'm like, I see what it is, and as being older, I'm like, oh, this, I get it now. It's cooler to me now, I suppose.